Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Holosmith. It has been a while, it's been a hot minute, and I believe this is the last profession I have to cover. This is not going to be the best cover. It's not going to be the best ending to a shorter series. However, I'm giving it a shot, and as you can already tell, I'm covering the Holosmith. Now, with the Holosmith, I have not played it too much in comparison to, say, the Firebrand or the Mirage or the Scourge. Engineer is just something I don't typically touch. However, 2 or 3 days ago, I think, I decided to mosey on over to my Char Engineer and hop into some PvP. Now, this is a little different. My other videos were focused on PvE, while this is going to be a little bit more focused on PvP. I know some people have missed, I haven't actually gotten any comments about missing PvP. I'm just going to infer that some people miss PvP. Others of you will not care. But nevertheless, I'm here to give my review, my overview, my insight, my wisdom, my prophetic knowledge into a beginner Holosmith. Now let us of course start with the fundamentals, and that being the gear I'm taking in PvP. Now with PvP, you don't have a bunch of separate pieces. You just have rune, amulet, sigils, and your weapons, along with your specializations. And I'm not going too crazy with this actually. I'm sticking with the recommended pre-made build that comes with the PvP. You can go under the menus and select a default. And being a beginner, I thought this was probably the best place to start. So with it, it runs Rune of Strength, Marauder's Amulet, and then Sigil of Annulment and Sigil of Cleansing. Pretty sure those are the 2. Fairly simple, really nice for beginners, focusing on power and a little bit more of survivability. And moving on, next we have the specializations. I'm not going to go super into these, but for the Holosmith, I'm taking Prismatic Converter, Crystal Configuration, Eclipse for some extra survivability, and Enhanced Capacity Storage Unit. Simply for more heat, because I like to have that nice and toasty heat. And for my utilities, I'm mixing them up a little bit. I think this is the only area of the build that is different to the default build. So I'm running coolant, the coolant heal, and the F1 also cures some more condition damage. And with condition damage being kind of at an all-time high, I thought it was fairly wise. Next, I'm taking a Photon Wall for a little bit more defense, extra blocking, extra projectile blocking. You can also launch it as an explosive skill. Next, I'm taking Hardlight Arena for a little bit more support and defensive boons. And finally, I'm taking Spectrum Shield for, once again, more personal survivability. I realized Photon Wall might get the job done, but I just want that little extra 50, not little, it's quite a decent damage reduction. It's 50% damage reduction along with 50% condition damage reduction. And finally, for the elite, I'm taking the heavy-hitting Prime Light Beam. This is probably the most satisfying skill in Guild Wars 2. Just like charging it up and like watching it blast off. Okay, I'm getting a little ahead of myself and I'm getting a little excited, but I don't care. It's really fun. And now that we have laid the groundwork, I shall continue on into my deeper corners of my mind and my opinions on the Holosmith. And in the background, I hope you guys have been enjoying some of the PvP gameplay, watching me be a noob, as I typically am with Engineer, but I'm slowly getting better. It's a day-by-day process. It's like this wonderful experience. But as a beginner, let me share some things and some of my opinions. First off, this elite spec is so much fun. I log in Guild Wars 2 and I'm at that point where I'm no longer just like forgetting about engineer. I'm now contemplating and like having to decide between Scourge or Holosmith or Firebrand support, which is extremely strong, or massive big DPS Holosmith. It's a bizarre experience for me because I've never been in that situation, but now I am, and I'm loving it. Playing PvP is definitely different from PvE, and I haven't been playing as much PvP lately, so it's been a little bit of a learning curve, but I'm always up for the challenge. And I've noticed that the Holosmith is really easy and user-friendly for beginners, but is also really difficult at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense. It could just be me having trouble against more experienced players, or the fact that I'm just a general noob to the Holosmith. But I found that getting caught off guard is weirdly easy. You're not thinking about it. It more or less just happens. So this spec, for me, I have to pay a lot of attention to what's going on. Being a melee character, you never know what you're gonna get hit with, especially with Scourges running around with their shades. It's sometimes difficult to stay on point, and sometimes you're just gonna get overloaded with condition damage, and then you won't know what to do. You're pressing F1, you're trying to get your heal off. You're trying to survive any way possible, and it can become overwhelming at times. And then you just resort to spamming buttons, which I've done quite a bit in the footage in the background. On the other hand, smashing buttons seems to work. It's just the raw power of the Holosmith. Just smashing buttons doesn't detract from the fun of the spec. In a way, it kind of makes it more fun because you just like smash, Hulk smash the keyboard and you win, and it's really, really fun. The Forge mode is probably my favorite. It is, along with the Prime Light Beam, extremely satisfactory to attack enemies. I'm just like destroying this warrior here. I don't know what I remember when I was fighting this warrior. I'm like, are you just letting me kill you? Anyway, but being in this mode, the animations and the actual combat, it's so fluid, yet you feel like you're hitting like a piece of meat. It feels impactful and smooth. And I kind of wish other aspects of Guild Wars 2 combat was more like this, especially for melee. I think they hit the Holosmith combat on the head, and I'm a new enthusiast of the Holosmith. I've also found it really interesting for me to fiddle around with some builds, and I'm a lover of build crafting, so I'm going to spend much more time in PvP exploring the different intricacies of the Holosmith. I'm using really big vocabulary today. I have a final tomorrow. I'm stressing out. I'm gonna take a Xanax. Don't do drugs, kids. That was not even relevant. I'm gonna continue on. But overall, I would say Holosmith is probably one of my favorite elite specializations, along with the Firebrand. But you can just see in the background, I'm having a lot of fun wailing on warriors and squishy thieves. Oh my god, thieves are already the mosquito of PvP. And being a Holosmith, oh my god, I just made a pun in my mind. I mean, not really a pun, but a connection. You're like the lantern, and thieves are like the mosquitoes. They just can't resist the light. See what I did there? Because I call Smith light. Yeah, okay. Anyway, it's late. Getting back on track, just to finish this off, I really enjoy, the sword. I forgot to talk about the sword. The sword's a lot of fun. I like the cooperation and incorporation. I think that's a better word. They incorporated the heat mechanics into the sword. And someone had mentioned, I think it was Tekkett's Workshop. I was watching one of his videos, and he said that he was saddened by the fact that they hadn't implemented heat mechanics in other weapons, and I, to an extent, agree. I think it'd be really interesting to have more heat mechanics on other aspects of weapons. I think that's the last thing I want to say because this video is about to end. Oh my god. But subscribe for more content if you liked it. Like the video if you liked it, and comment down below what you think about the Holosmith. I'm gonna go because this video is ending. I didn't prepare. I'll see you all in the next video. Hope this one's not too bad. Bye everyone. Mwah.